your trip in Sevan?
Very good. I have seen the Armenian gate. Yeah, it is amazing, you know, what you are doing with this sea and around the sea.
Yeah.
I was impressed, especially, you know, by the inclusion of the local communities in the project and balancing between economy and preservation of the nature. So it's, you know, it's always good to go outside the capital. Yes. So you are now in the role as how I started my career. Really. I'm a journalist.
Wow, great.
And I was working at the Voice of Germany in Germany at the beginning of the 90s when the first war in Nagorno-Karabakh started. And I really remember because every day we have been reporting on this. So at that time I was, 93, reporting in the 90s. Yeah, so you're doing the great job.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for showing the interest in my visit here. I think this is good because, you know, there is no democracy without you, without the media. And really, you know, how to bring what is happening in the country closer to people. Only you can do this. Of course, we can be, you know, on the ground, but you reach much, much more people. So it is a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having time for us.
It's important, and especially, you know, this is my first visit.
To Armenia.
And it's not the last, you know, with the ambassador, European ambassador, we are already planning what else could be done here, and now seeing, you know, the gastronomy market, so many places.
Russian authorities are openly hinting at sanctions if Armenia deepens its EU integration. Given Armenia's heavy energy dependence on Russia and its significant trade within the East Eurasian Economic Union, such measures could risk economic collapse if faced alone. What concrete support is the European Union ready to provide, if any, to help Armenia withstand possible Russian retaliations?
Every country has a right to choose its own destiny and the way, and the community or the partners. And Armenia has done so much in the latest time, especially with the peace agreement with Azerbaijan. Of course, you know, there is a difference between the Russian way and the European way. The European way is that we want to see your economy strong. We want to see your society strong. We want Armenia to have a strong and resilient institution which will be able to defend democracy, free media, civil society. On the other hand, we have a concept where, and this is not what we see only here in Armenia, this concept of Russia we see elsewhere. And the Russian concept, I could say that there is a kind of contest between European and Russian way. Russia doesn't want countries to see economically strong or democratic or independent. Why? Because then it is not possible to control it. And back to your question, what we are ready to do. So we want to strengthen your economic and social resilience. As you know, we have many programs which we help, not just the government. You know, just yesterday I announced the allocation of more than 200 million euro in the Growth and Resilience Plan. And this name of this financial instrument says a lot. It is about growth and resilience. And this is what we want to see. And with the peace agreement I was mentioning before, we see strong possibilities and role of Armenia between the Europe and the Central Asia, meaning that we can develop together energy, trade, infrastructure, and of course also digital. So how to make Armenia more stronger, more resilient, more democratic? It's a basis, and we have just started to develop these relations, and we can do more. Your country will have to diversify the economy. We can help. We can help in developing standards under which your companies will be able to export not just to the European Union but to the other parts of the world. And I think that we should really seize this very historical moment together and build all together a strong Armenia. As I have, your Prime Minister Pashinyan has said today in the speech when he was speaking about the EU membership perspective, but at the same time maintaining a balanced regional and foreign policy. So this is important. One more point is really, yesterday when I was really meeting many politicians and also representatives of civil society, I said that, once we see your will, the will of your people to move towards Europe, it is also our responsibility, and especially my responsibility as commissioner, your country is in my portfolio, that we help you. And this is an ongoing process, and I'm very happy that the peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan has opened up completely new perspective, because it is not just about your country, it is about regional connectivity, meaning the stronger Armenia will be, the stronger also your regional connections could be.
Thank you, Ms. Kas, for taking the time to sit down here with us. The European Union has repeatedly expressed its readiness to support the unblocking of regional communications. And now that clear agreements between Armenia and Azerbaijan have been reached with the participation of the United States, how does the European Union envision its role and possible involvement in potential projects for the developments of the infrastructure and communications?
We are really experiencing now a historical moment which was possible because of the wise people in your government, especially your Prime Minister, and I would say also the people in Armenia, which have recognized how important it is at some point to go on. Yesterday, when we were speaking about the projects where the European Union is supporting the people, refugees who came from Nagorno-Karabakh, I was talking about the importance of peace. And also about how it was not that obvious in Europe, if I go a bit out of the scope of your question, if I may, but we have had two really bad wars in Europe. The First and the Second World War. And a few years after the end of the Second World War, the cooperation between two really strong, I would say, enemies before, France and Germany, started on the cooperation on the coal and steel. We didn't speak about the European Union at that time. And then more and more countries came. So this working together came based on the economic development. And if I see the parallels to what is happening now, you've been asking about the communication and infrastructure. I think that to some extent we have a similar situation today, meaning you have come to the peace with Azerbaijan. We also talked to Turkey. We talked to the countries in the Central Asia. And we want somehow to connect Europe with the Central Asia. And you are here in the middle. So that's why it is historical moment, because of your geographical position. No country or no people, no nation can choose the geography where the country is, but you can choose what you do with your geographical position. So speaking concretely, we are now in the process of developing and discussing the concrete projects. And when I was speaking to the representatives of your government, and also in the previous days with the representatives of Azerbaijan and Turkey, we suggested to build a working group of the three countries plus the European Union, where we will discuss what kind of projects would be the best to develop connectivity plus doing development in each and every country. We have specific relations to those countries, and we are really ready to engage. Concretely, besides the bilateral help we are doing for your country through the Growth and Resilience Plan, we have allocated more than 3 billion euro for the so-called, I call it connectivity agenda. So it is connectivity, be it on the main axis like trade, energy. It is about digitalization, and we should never forget the people. And sometimes when I speak about, there are highways project and railways project and pipelines project, but the very important part is also the people. And going back to steel and coal in Europe, this economic cooperation has brought us today to the situation that we have a community of 27 countries. Who would have imagined, even my small country, which is smaller than your Armenia, was able to join the EU in 2004. And today we are a market of 450 million people. And this makes us strong. Meaning with this connectivity or communication agenda and infrastructure, you can become, and we can become altogether stronger. Why is this also important for Europe? Europe is also, looking for new partners we can trust. And we are also looking for new resources. Geopolitics has changed. And this connectivity agenda is now happening not north of Armenia, but south of Armenia. And we would like to invest even more. We are now in the budget until the end of 27. I was speaking 3 billion. This is until the end of 27. And then we have huge possibilities. So we have been also discussing with your representatives of your government. So we will establish a special working group. So concretely to your question, we will see what your country is needed, what our countries is needed. Nowadays, when I speak about the connectivity, we have to do it in a smart way. In a smart way, meaning that not that you do one part and you cannot do the connection further on to Azerbaijan or to anywhere else, or on the west side to Turkey. So all together. And the advantage we have today is that you are willing to do this, and some other countries too, and we are willing to help as much as we can.
What are Armenia's chances of EU membership in the current situation when many EU member states are not supportive of enlargement? And what is the biggest challenge for Armenia on that path?
Yeah. We have 27 members of the EU and 23 are supportive of the enlargement. We have just made a survey among the member states, which shows us that the general support, this is among the citizens, not the politicians, it's 56%. Some would say that this is a low number, but it is nearly 20% higher, so pro-enlargement, than it was 10 years back. And if you ask yourself why, the main reason, when we have seen these results and then have gone deeper, is that mostly it is about the security. When I became a commissioner in December, I was talking that enlargement at that time is different than it was 5 years back. when the European Union didn't want to enlarge. We have actually consciously put enlargement on the ice. Nowadays, I can say today here in Yerevan that enlargement today is different than it was in December. Many things have happened. We have mentioned before, the peace agreement between the two countries. Then it has changed that the war in Ukraine is going on and on. And we are supporting Ukraine very much. And when I speak about the enlargement, it is for the first time in the history that we are negotiating with a country which is at war. Never before. And for the first time in the history, when you ask about the enlargement, this enlargement process is happening in the situation where we have, I call them external disruptive forces who would like to stop us. And we will not let this happen. Why? Europe is a peace project. And enlargement is the most important foreign policy of the European Union, which can enable us to have peace. So now I speak a bit broader, but just to understand, it is not, we do not enlarge because we want to have more square kilometers or more millions of people. The idea of the enlargement is ensuring, and this is actually the basis of the European Union, which is a peace project. It is about peace, it is about freedom, and it is about prosperity. And we cannot have peace without security. And we, now going back to Armenia, we have developed, and I can really say that our relations are closer than ever. We are building on the partnership agreement, and soon we will have a new launch of a new partnership agenda. We are now in the end process. Then we have started, as you know, last year, the visa liberalization process. And for me, and also for your Minister of Interior, which I met today in the morning, this is much more than that you people from Armenia will be, at the end of the process, able to get a free access to the European Union. It is about transformation of your process, meaning about the data management. It is about the border management. It is about how you will be able to control, if I simplify, who is coming to Armenia, who is going out. And we are willing to help this. And the third pillar of this very good cooperation is growth and resilient plan, altogether 270 million. So, and we are developing our relations, and that's why I'm actually also here. The clear wish of the Armenian people expressed in the special law is a very important symbolic step, and it is hugely encouraging. As I have said right at the beginning, every country chooses its own way. And congratulations for this courage to choose the European perspective. The whole process of coming closer and closer to the EU is very hard and demanding, and includes also all the member states, meaning that all the member states have to agree about your possibility of the future membership, meaning that once you will be ready, we are now helping you. It will be able to move on, and this is now our responsibility also. Meaning helping you, get you ready, get you prepared for this rigorous and long process of the alignment of everything what is needed to be done, that you will be able to go the European way. But once again, you have chosen your, if I say so, with the law you have passed, you have chosen. And as I have seen now, it was not just the decision of the government. It was not just the decision of the parliament. I have met civil society, I told you today, I have met the European young ambassadors. They told me, but we are already European in the sense of, mindset or attitude. And this is a lot, and we will help you on this way.
Thank you for your insights. With Georgia being now sidelined in the EU accession process, how does this impact Armenia's prospects, and given that it lacks land or sea connection with the EU?
I know how much Armenian people are interested in smooth development in Georgia. It is your neighbor. It is a candidate country, but we are not happy with the democratic backsliding we are experiencing there. Their government decided to stop the accession process, and because of this, we also have to think how our future relation with this country would be. I would be the most happy person if Georgia would come back to the European path. But this is really in the hands of the Georgian government. And my call to the government of Georgia is that they should really listen to their people who really want to have a European future and who really are demanding democratic development. And I also call on, every time possible, call on their government to release all unjustly detained journalists, political leaders and activists. But going back to Armenia, so this is regarding Georgia. Regarding Armenia and the future European path, every country has its own development when we talk about the European path, and it is merit-based, meaning that the developments in Georgia cannot have a direct effect on Armenians' path, European path, as long as you are going the way as you are going it now, meaning you are willing to do the necessary reforms, or if I speak generally about the transformation. Why I'm stressing this? When I was talking to many times to Prime Minister of Albania, Edi Rama, you know, they have made a huge way forward in this year. We will soon open all the negotiating clusters. And when I asked him, you know, how is this now possible? And he told me, you know, even if we will never become a member of the EU, but of course we will, he told me, I see this EU path as a transformation for our own society, for our own economy. You know, Europe is based on some principles. Europe has a strong economy, and we want to be a part of this. But in the sense of, you know, what is needed to be a strong partner of the EU is a transformation process going on the field of democracy, going on the field of the rule of law, going on the field of economy. You know, that a country can become a member of the EU or going into the process has to fulfill the so-called Copenhagen criteria. And just a bit of a background. So when we accept new countries, they have to make us European Union stronger, not weaker, meaning that every country has to have a stable economy, this is the second pillar, strong, democratic state institutions who will be able to fight for democracy, be resilient, what we have started to do here in Armenia. And the third part is that the country will be able to take over the acquis communautaire from the European Union. In this respect, and back to your question, your destiny, your future is in your hands. But if I may say, you know, I like to quote the Charles de Gaulle, a very known French politician and general from the past, who once said that the politics is too important to be left to the politicians. It doesn't mean that we don't need the politicians. We need them, to have a strong leadership. But the society is the one who is very, very important part on this way. And I have really, and I trust after my first visit here and after talking to your politicians, so you have a leadership who is really doing well, and your society is also knowing what are the possibilities if you go the European path. And I wish you and your Armenian nation all the best on this way.
Thank you, Commissioner. After the pre-signing of the peace agreement in Washington between Armenia and Azerbaijan, was the issue of the further format of EU mission in Armenia discussed? Could you give us some information whether the question of the withdrawal was discussed or not? Because in that document, which was pre-signed, there was a provision that parties shall not deploy any third-party forces along the common border.
Yeah. Once again, we have a very positive opinion about this peace arrangement or agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And what can I say to the EU mission is Armenia? It is based on the request of your government. And we were happy and we are happy that we can help in the area where your government was needing the help. And it is exclusively civilian mission and unarmed mission. Of course, we can change any arrangement about this EU mission, but it will be done between your government and the EU. So this is in the hands of two parties who actually agreed to deploy this.
Because Armenian people see as a guarantor for their security this civilian mission. That's why people are very sensitive about the further format.
And we see also positive results. And if I go back to your question before, the whole process now when we will speak with all together is also about building trust. And, if I again go back to the European history, the hostilities the hostilities between, let's say, France and Germany and some others, or for instance, when the ex-communist countries joined the EU, or some of them have been in the system or in the Soviet Union, like you have been, we could also go back to the history, what did the Germans do to us in Slovenia? They have occupied my country, and so on. At some point, we need the trust-building measures, and this EU mission is about this and about the security. And then once we have the trust, it is much more possible. And, it is good that you are getting somebody you trust, and I'm honored that Armenia is trusting the European Union. And if we work all together, I think that we can build something much, much bigger. Being a partner with Armenia is also the responsibility. It's not something what is on the paper and that we help you because you asked. It is our responsibility, and is also our contribution to the future development in this area. And all the countries, including us, trust is very important.
Thank you very much.
No more questions.
There are many, but can we ask?
Of course, I told you before. You can.
So you are coming from Baku, and I want to know. You visit also Artam, and you met President Aliyev. And did you discuss the issue of return of Karabakh refugees? As raised, it was raised in the resolution adopted in European Parliament. So this question.
Yeah. No, we didn't discuss this. I visited Nagorno-Karabakh because I wanted especially to see what is being establishing there. And I wanted also to see the work of the very important NGO coming from my country, Slovenia, which is having the ITF NGO helping in demining. We are helping in the demining process. Regarding the refugees, we have spoken about this with your government and with the support. As you know, yesterday I have signed the agreement with the EBRD, and I was speaking then with the many beneficiaries of this money. There is a nice village of wooden houses. I have, forgotten where exactly this is, but I promise the gentleman who is working there that next time I will come. The opening will be next summer, that we will also come there. He calls this area small Switzerland. So we will see what we will do. Back to your question. How can you live on after the war? Is a very important question I'm also dealing in my portfolio. Namely, it is the question about the reconciliation. And it was possible between France and Germany. It is not done yet, also in some of the countries which are in my portfolio and are candidate countries in the Western Balkans. And this is the ongoing process, but it can only come, this reconciliation cannot be imposed from the outside. It can come from the inside, and helping your refugees in their destiny, coming to this part of the land, it's now the most important part, and I hope that we will be also helping in the future.
Տիկինքոս արդյոք Եվրամիությունը նախատեսում է Հայաստանի կառավարության հետ համաձայնեցնել Հայաստանի անդամակցության ճանապարհային քարտեզ եւ կոնկրետ քայլեր, թե ինչ բարեփոխումներ, ինչ քայլեր պետք է կատարի Հայաստանի Հանրապետությունը անդամակցության ավելի մոտ լինելու համար, եւ արդյոք նախատեսվում է բանակցել ազատ առևտրի համաձայնագիրը, որը, ինչպես գիտենք, առաջին բանակցված փաստաթղթում կար Հայաստան Եվրամիություն, սակայն այն չէր ստորագրվել 2013-2014 թվականներին, դա հայտնի պատմություն է Ռուսաստանի այսպես բաց աղբյուրներից հայտնի սպառնալիքների պատճառով Հայաստանը այն ժամանակ ըստ էության չշարունակեց Եվրամիության հետ ազատ առևտրի համաձայնագրի բանակցությունը եւ անդամակցեց Ռուսաստանի գլխավորած Եվրասիական տնտեսական միությանը։ Շնորհակալություն։
For the time being, we are building on the 3 pillars I was mentioning before. So we are now developing a new partnership agenda, and there will be many reforms which will contribute to the transformation of your economy. And the second pillar is visa liberalization, which is already connected to some reforms. All the other candidates also have to go through, and it is about the third pillar, growth and resilience plan. Meaning we have to first go through all these pillars to make your economy stronger, to take care about the prosperity, about strong institutions, and then we will see, as I was saying before, the accession process is very demanding and tough process. It takes years, and I think that everything what we do today could in the future, once we will be that far, contribute to this process.
Do you think it's easier, hypothetically, for smaller nations like Armenia to implement the necessary reforms to meet EU membership standards compared to larger and perhaps less flexible states?
And also we don't share a border with the EU.
This is a hypothetical question, but I can speak out of the experience of my country, which is, as I have said, smaller than Armenia. When we got independent, Slovenia is also 34 years old, and happy Independence Day to all of you and to all of people of Armenia. It was for the first time in the history We have always been a part of something bigger, never before. And then the first question has been, really? We want now to become a member of the EU or to go the European path? We just got independent, so again, now we will have bosses in Brussels. And so the discussion has been, couldn't we wait a bit, that we enjoy our freedom, our independency, and then we go the European way? But immediately, it was clear that the best solution for us is going the European way. Many reasons. First, for instance, how could we, a country with a 2.1 million, now negotiating the tariffs with the American President Trump? Being a part of the EU, it's 450 million. Even this was tough. So it is enabling us that being a part of the broader community, it's making us stronger. About our position in the European Union, and now I will come back to the answer. It is, being a part of the EU is enabling us to be more sovereign. This is perhaps a paradox on the first side, but is not. So the EU is protecting our sovereignty. I was director of the Government Communication Office when we decided to go the European way, and we have done the special communication campaign so that people would understand why we have to do all the reforms. That the people are buying in what needs to be done is very much important. And then later on, 2 years later, when it was clear, that we are close to the possible membership, I was working as the vice president of the Chamber of Commerce on Slovenia, and we have been preparing our companies. Yes, the whole process is very complicated, but for the smaller countries, sometimes it's easier. And this is my answer to your question. If you do it in the inclusive way, and if you do it with a strong leadership, which is every single day of this accession process capable to explain why. It is not just how and what you have to do. For me, the most important question or the answer the good leadership has to give is the answer to the question, why are we doing this? But there are different experiences. Poland is 20 times bigger in the number of the population than that my country, and they have done it also in the same time. I would say that it is not that much on the how big or small the country is. It is much more on the vision, on the capabilities of the leadership, and on the inclusiveness of the whole society in the process.
Thank you.
And if very short, what's the main message of your visit, like in one sentence? With which message are you here?
Trust yourself. Work on peace. Work on the regional connectivity, and really take care about your people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.